Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know what? I wasn't going to do a video on this, but I'm actually forced to do a video on this. It seems like there's a lot of speculation out there about Juan Soto coming to the New York Mets. And obviously, the New York Mets have all the money in the world. Yeah, more money than most teams in all the sports. So, yes, can the Mets afford a Juan Soto? Undoubtedly, yes. That is the case. But is Steve Cohen and David Stearns, are they going to make that aggressive approach? I mean, David Stearns is a guy this year we've seen that hasn't spent a lot of money. Is he going to go all out next year and be aggressive? Okay, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into some reports by Buster Olney confirming the Mets' interest in Juan Soto. And we're going to get into the Mets and the Yankees possibly having an unsaid agreement that they would not touch each other's players. Okay, first, as always, do all the good stuff. Please like, please subscribe, help build our channel, be a part of it, and stay tuned for more interesting baseball content. Okay, so if anybody was scrolling and looking at information for our New York Mets, all you see today is the Mets are interested in Mr. Juan Soto, and they will go all out next year. Now, Steve Cohen, we all know, made a huge change in his philosophy. Last year, we paid a bunch of high paid older pitchers, threw a heck of a lot of money at them, and then at the trade deadline, we changed our philosophy. We got rid of these players, we traded them away for young superstars, and Steve Cohen said, you know what? Came to a realization. It's not all about spending money. It's not all about spending the most money. That's the bottom line. And when you do spend money, it's about spending it in a targeted way. So, therefore, is Juan Soto a guy that you would target? Is he a guy that David Stearns, more importantly, would target? Now, let's get into why there's so much buzz. Why is Buster Olney really stating that the Mets are going to go after Juan Soto? Okay, so let's get into what ESPN's Buster Olney says. So Olney says the most interesting thing that I've heard at Mets camp was, and it's not surprising given that Max Scherzer's contract and others will melt off their payroll next winter, is that they fully intend to take a run at Juan Soto next winter. Olney said. So I don't know where the heck he's heard this from. I don't know if he's just looking at the payroll and guessing, but Olney, I guess is considered an insider, and he's hearing this at Mets camp. Like I said, I don't know what he's hearing, but you know what? At the end of the day, a lot of times where there's smoke, there's fire. Soto's a guy who notoriously he likes hitting in City Field. He likes playing in New York. He's always had a smirk about playing in New York. And at that Yankees press conference, when they introduced him, I cannot help but notice that he just made it seem like, yeah, we're going to just get through this season. It wasn't like, I'm so happy to be here. It's been my lifelong dream to be a New York Yankee. Yeah, it was just like, okay, we're not going to talk about contract. It seemed like he wasn't ready, not even to think about making a commitment. And, as a Met fan, that was actually something that I really like to hear because the guy obviously was traded. Really not much he could do. And it seemed like he's more of a National League guy to me. I think the spot he's going to land is in New York, but he's going to land with the New York Mets. And why would the Mets pursue him? Why would David Stearns, everybody's saying he's a small market GM. No, he's not a small market GM. He came from a small market, but they didn't have a lot of money. Not David Stearns' fault. Well, David Stearns, right now, he has the most resources out of any other president in all of baseball. But David Stearns is a very intelligent man. He's going to utilize these resources wisely. Wisely. He's not going to hand out contracts this year that would prohibit him from handing out better contracts in the years to come. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So Juan Soto is a guy, almost a transcendent ball player. He's going to be next year. Right now, he's going to be age 25 going into the 2024 season. So if we sign him in 2025, he will be 26 years old. At age 26, he's going to have around 200 home runs. He has an on-base percentage, a career on-base percentage of 421, a slugging percentage of 524 career-wise, and a career OPS of 946. These numbers don't lie. David Stearns is a numbers man. He's a numbers man. And this is something, that I think is going to just jump off the page at David Stearns. And I think that is why the New York Mets, considering their resources, considering they're going to make targeted attempt at these players, I think Juan Soto is going to be target numero uno. Numero uno. Okay, so that just seems so obvious to me. Okay, now as far as the Mets no touch approach with the Yankees players. Obviously, a couple years ago, not Juan Soto, Aaron Judge was a free agent, and the Mets didn't even blink. They didn't even blink. Obviously, Aaron Judge could have been a phenomenal asset to the New York Mets, but the New York Mets didn't even blink. Could that have been an unspoken agreement between Steinbrenner, Hal Steinbrenner, of course, and Steve Cohen? Hey, you don't touch Alonso, we won't touch Judge. Could have been that. You know what? Maybe in the beginning it could have been. I think the gloves are off right now. Really, the gloves are off. And here's the thing. You have Steve Cohen going up against Hal Steinbrenner. You don't have him going up against George Steinbrenner. Yankee fans right now who are clamoring, I don't mean to offend you by saying this, but I think the Mets are set up better in 2025 and beyond. Yes, I do. Because the Yankees have all the chips in the middle of the table right now. Usually those come with consequences. They made a big trade getting Juan Soto, and they give up a lot of pitching depth. And I know people, they're poo-pooing, hey, the guys they gave up weren't great, this and that. But you know what? They gave up decent talent. Okay, now, as far as the Mets not touching Yankees players, that is going to be non-existent. Juan Soto is fully on the table. I fully expect, this is what I fully expect. I fully expect that at the end of the day, and this is what I feel. I feel the Mets are going to re-sign Alonso. They're going to sign Soto, and they're going to sign a couple pitchers. And because of the moves that Stearns didn't make, they will still be under the Steve Cohen luxury tax for 2025. That's what I suspect is the goal. That's what I suspect is the plan. And if that happens, if the Mets are able to make all these moves and still be under the third luxury tax, that is phenomenal. That means we can reset things and we would still have a great chance to win. The young players would still have their opportunity to develop, but now we would have a core of superstars. Obviously, we would still have Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor now, Juan Soto, Brandon Nimmo. I mean, the middle of that lineup would be really dynamic, not to mention the young guys like Francisco Alvarez, Ronnie Mauricio would be back, Brett Beatty if he takes a jump, Mark Vientos, and that doesn't even include the younger guys coming up from the minors like Chet Williams, Drew Gilbert, guys like that, Luis Angel Acuna. I mean, on the offensive side of the ball, I think we're all set. As I always say, it's about pitching, and pitching. And that's where we pay David Stearns the most money out of any GM in baseball. That's what he has to take care of. And I am fully confident that by next year at this time, we will have a rotation that we could be a bit proud of. Okay? Can't guarantee it, but you know what? You pay David Stearns all that money for a reason, and I think it is going to happen. Drop a comment. First I want to go over. I added a couple new members in terms of Mets total wins. What your predictions were. So who did I add? I added LV Scooter predicted the Mets. Oh, high prediction. Mets winning 95 games. CeeLo, the Mets winning 87. Hobby Landry, the Mets winning 78. Pat Pizzuto, the Mets winning between 87 and 92. So I put you at 89.5. Scott Wilson, 83.5. You predicted between 82 and 85 games. And then Herman, we have you. You predicted the Mets to win 84 games. So we seem to have a pretty big range. So far, the lowest amount that somebody predicted the Mets was 67 games. And the highest amount we have as 95 games. So we have a very big range. So you really never know what happens in baseball. You never know. 2022, the Mets won 101 games. I mean, they may blow all of us away. They may blow all of us away. I mean, that's what I'm truly hoping for. I'm truly hoping for like a magical season that none of us expect. None of us expect. But hit the like button, subscribe. I felt that I had to put out, I did a couple Soto videos. I didn't expect Soto news to be all over the news today. I really didn't. I'm like clicking, hey, what's going on with the Mets today? And oh, Soto's really? We're talking about Soto going to the Mets next year? Ono's only states that that's what the Mets are targeting. So, hey, we got to cover it. And those were my opinions about the situation. Drop yours down in the comments. Love reading those. I will speak to you very, very soon. Have a great night.